Hello everyone and welcome to today's video. Am I using a candle as my mic? Yes, I am. In this video, I will be reading the entirety of the Ember in the Ashes series by Sabaa Tahir, and I will let you know my thoughts, opinions, and suffice to say, I'm very excited about this one because I know it's the favorite of a lot of people, and everyone I've heard talking about this series had nothing but amazing things to say, so I am very confident that I will enjoy this series a lot, but we're just gonna read and see. Now, I don't know a lot about this series. All I know is that we are following a girl who lives in this empire where they have this like military school, I think, and she has to become a spy to gather intel from someone in the military school, I think. I don't know. Not that clear, but I'm sure I will learn more after I'm reading this one. So let's just see what it says on the back of the book. It says, Laia is a slave. Elias is a soldier. Neither is free. Under the martial empire, defiance is met with death. Laia and her family do not accept the empire. They've seen what happens to those who do. But when Laia's brother is arrested for treason, okay, so he is arrested, she is forced to make a decision. In exchange for help from rebels who promise to rescue her brother, she will risk her life to spy for them within the Empire's greatest military academy. There, Laia meets Elias, the school's finest soldier, and secretly its most unwilling. He and Laia will soon realize that their destinies are intertwined and that their choices will change the fate of the empire itself. Sounds promising. Sounds very, very promising. So with that said, today is Sunday. I want to go to a coffee shop soon. So yeah, let's go grab some coffee and start reading An Ember in the Ashes by Sabaa Tahir.
Sitting in the basement apartment I rented with you. Remembering the holiday party we had with the crew. Romeo was roaming the garden. Saturday was spent in a parking lot. Gave it all we got. It was so with you. Following the leader down 8th Street to get what we can. Crawl up the walls, make a few calls to the man. Promising the prominent angle.
Hi vlog, it is the next day and yesterday I couldn't stop until I read the whole book, so I have finished An Ember in the Ashes. My god, do I have a lot of thoughts about this book. I'm trying to keep it as vague and as spoiler-free as possible for the portion where I talk about this book specifically, but just know that when I will be talking about the second book in this series, I kind of have to hint about some things that are happening in this one. So just so you know, if you don't want to hear that, maybe just like skip ahead. What I love about this is so character driven. Sure, there is a plot and there are interesting things that are happening because of the plot and because of what these characters are trying to achieve. But the way that the characters are written, it is so good. Not even for like a YA fantasy, it's written so good. Period. I love the dual point of view element of this. We are switching back and forth between Laia and Elias. The angst and the yearning between them is so good. All of the characters in this one have so much depth to them, even characters that are very clearly intended to be antagonists in the story have very clear reasons as to why they're doing the things that they're doing. The setting feels like a merge of like a dystopian setting and a fantasy setting, and it all works really well for our characters in this way. Obviously, with a story like this, with dual point of view, you will reach a point where the two characters or their 2 points of view will bleed into each other, and that is always my favorite part in a fantasy series. So I'm quite happy with how that was handled in this one. My only kind of like note or my only wish for this one is to have like more world building, because we are in this character's points of view and it's always first person in the present tense, like I am walking towards da 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 da, or I'm doing this right now in this moment. Their worldview feels a bit limited, but that is my only gripe with this one. Other than that, I loved it so much. Even though the direction of the plot felt a bit predictable towards the end, like when I was probably at the middle of the book, I already knew what to expect from the ending. I was still surprised by a specific character and their specific story arc towards the end of this one. Let me read you 3 quotes that I have prepared from this book, which I think will immediately make you pick this book up. So the first one is alluding to the title of the book, and we understand in this moment why it is called An Ember in the Ashes. This life is not always what we think it will be. You are an ember in the ashes. You will spark and burn, ravage and destroy. You cannot change it. You cannot stop it. What you want doesn't matter. Tomorrow, you must make a choice. Another quote that is very out of context, but I gasped out loud when I read it. So it goes, "There are 2 kinds of guilt," I said softly. "The kind that's a burden and the kind that gives you purpose. Let your guilt be your fuel. Let it remind you of who you want to be. Draw a line in your mind. Never cross it again. You have a soul. It's damaged, but it's there. Don't let them take it from you." Need I say more? Need I say more? And last but not least, this is like borderline spoilery, so just be aware of that. I do not doubt. I do not hesitate. I am the lioness's daughter, and I have the lioness's strength. I am coming for you. I say to the wind, hoping it will carry my message. You stay alive. I am coming, and nothing is going to stop me. This is low-key given, oh my god, what's that Throne of Glass quote that everyone is saying? I am Aelin Ashivur-Galathenius, and I will not be afraid. Yeah, if you could not tell, I'm obsessed with this book. And because this is not actually like ending on a cliffhanger, but it makes you want more and it makes you pick up the next book. I have already started the next one, which is A Torch Against the Night. I have read pretty much, I'm halfway through, I think like 40 something, 46, 47% into this one. When I tell you that this book is so crazy and it has one of my favorite type of settings, but let me first read you the back of it. So again, mild spoilers for the first book in the series at this point. Elias and Laia are running for their lives. After the events of the 4th trial, martial soldiers hunt the 2 fugitives as they flee and undertake a perilous journey through the heart of the Empire. Laia is determined to break into Kaf, the Empire's dangerous prison, to save her brother, who is the key to the scholar's survival. And Elias, I think it's Elias, I'm not sure. And Elias is determined to help Laia succeed, even if it means giving up his last chance at freedom. But dark forces, human and otherworldly, work against them. The pair must fight every step of the way to outsmart their enemies. The bloodthirsty Emperor Marcus, the merciless commandant, the sadistic warden of Kaf, and most heartbreaking of them all, Hélène, Elias's former friend and the Empire's newest bloodstrike. Hélène faces a torturous mission of her own, one that might destroy her. Find the traitor and the scholar girl who help him escape, and kill them both. So far, my experience with reading a book and a half from the Ember series, love. Love, love, love. I will see how much I can read today from the second book, and I will update the vlog soon. Okay, bye. Hi, it's still the same day, and I know I look kind of rough right now, but I just read chapter, it's either 41 or 51. The titles of the chapters are in Roman numerals, and apparently I don't know how to read them past 39. But I'm pretty confident it's chapter 41. Something just happened between Laia and another character, and now their true intentions were revealed, and I am truly, genuinely like not okay. Because I didn't trust him from the beginning, and I thought, you know what, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this is, gonna work out. And apparently it will not work out. Sabaa here, what are you doing? What are you doing? I have to shower and also like potentially maybe sleep. But I how do I stop? How do I stop from reading this book? Hello, everyone, and good morning. It is the next day. It is Tuesday today. I have to go to the office in like 15 minutes or so, but before that, I wanted to update the vlog because I'm not sure if I will be able to do it afterwards. So, A Torch Against the Night by Sabaa here. I have finished it this morning, and my God, what a ride! What a ride. Also, this morning I read a couple of pages of A Reaper at the Gates, which is the third book. But first of all, let me tell you about my thoughts on A Torch Against the Night. Very, very quickly, because I have my notes here. So I was very surprised with Hélène's character arc in A Torch Against the Night. I was a bit not sure where she stands in the first book. I liked her character, but I wanted to get to know her a bit better, and we get that in A Torch Against the Night. Something just absolutely traumatic and horrible happens to Hélène in this book, and I feel like we are truly able to see now what she's struggling with and her moral dilemma in the series, and it's just so heartbreaking. In the same time, I think it's going to be like a pivotal moment for this character, for the actions that she's going to take in further books. What else? In my notes, I wrote kind of like Empire of Storms and Tower of Dawn, but better. Okay, so in Torch Against the Night, like something happens and these characters have to split so that they kind of go on their separate journeys. There's a lot of betrayal. There's a specific thing that happens probably like halfway through the book, or like a bit after the halfway point. I have tabbed that specific moment where a character that we know and love from the first book that helped Laia a lot is unfortunately killed, and it's just, I thought it's going to be the only heartbreaking moment in this book, but then towards the end, it's just that, but times 100. And yeah, it is sad, it is heartbreaking, but in the same time, I had the best time of my life just because I was racing through this book and I was like dying to know what's happening. And you reach the end. And you're immediately thinking, I have to pick up the next book. I have to pick up the next book. I have a lot of questions after finishing A Torch Against the Night, but more so, I want to know what's up with Laia's, like, almost invisibility, I want to say. We're not quite sure what's happening to her, but there are these moments where she can kind of disappear and reappear back again. It seems that she's getting like a better hold of it, but we still don't know what it is. So hopefully we will learn more about that in either the third or the fourth book. Another thing is revealed. So Cook, who is a character that we meet in the first book, is this like very mysterious character, and she helped Laia kind of. There's a specific thing that Cook said in the first book that comes to play in the second book. I was sure that was the case, but I was just not. Oh my God, what's up with my voice? Hold on. Yeah, apparently my voice doesn't want to cooperate today. So what I was saying is that there's a specific thing that Cook says in the first book, and she said it in a way where it kind of seemed like it's a legend or a folk tale or something like that. But in A Torch Against the Night, we learn that's actually what's happened in the past, and it also involves like Laia's parents and the past of the Empire. So again, very excited to see how that will play out in the third and fourth book. Now, on to the third book, A Reaper at the Gates. The green looks really weird on camera, but anyway, mild spoilers for the first two books in the series. All empires fall. Elena Aquila, the Bloodshrike, is desperate to protect her sister's life and the life of everyone in the Empire. But Emperor Marcus grows increasingly unstable and violent, while Caris Veturia, the ruthless commandant, capitalizes on the Emperor's madness to grow her own power. Far to the east, Laia of Sierra knows that the fate of the world lies not in the machinations of the martial court, but in stopping the Nightbringer. But in the hunt to bring him down, Laia faces unexpected threats from those she hoped would help her, and she is drawn into a battle she never thought she'd have to fight. And in the land between the living and the dead, Elias Veturius has given up his freedom to serve as soul catcher. But in doing so, he has vowed himself to an ancient power that demands his complete devotion, even if that means abandoning the woman he loves. There's a potential war coming, or has already started. I'm not quite sure on that, because we're like so much in first person point of view, we don't really get to see the outside world that much. We are only experiencing through the eyes and the ears of the characters, and you know, the scenes that they are actually in. So yeah, A Reaper at the Gates. In this one, we get a new point of view from the Nightbringer, which is a character that is introduced, let's say, in the first book, but he's only just like briefly mentioned. And in the second book, we get to know more of him, let's just say. In the first book, we were following only Laia and Elias as points of view. And then in the second book, we had also Hélène introduced into the mix. At least for the beginning of this book, we have 4 points of view in this one. So we have Elias, Laia, Elen, and also the Nightbringer. I'm gonna go now. I'm looking forward to read more of this today on my lunch break and also after work. And yeah, I will update you either when something crazy happens or when I finish this one. So let's get to work. Hi, it's the next day. It's Wednesday today. I have just finished A Reaper at the Gates and I am unwell. I am truly unwell. This book absolutely emotionally destroyed me, and I thought the second book was crazy, but this one, the third one, it's absolutely bonkers, and I am so scared, but in the same time, so excited to read the final book in this series. I am just completely in awe and mesmerized of how sabaa here is able to tell this story because like obviously we have multiple points of view, but what I really appreciated about this book specifically is that I feel like in this book, more so than in the other first two that I have read in this series, the stories of each characters are just like bleeding into each other's point of view, and I really appreciated that. There's also a character that's very mysterious from the beginning. I mean, all of the characters are kind of mysterious in the beginning, but this character, her name is Cook, and we have met her in the first book. We got to know her just like a tiny bit in the first book, and then she was pretty much absent for the majority of the second book. Now, in this one, she makes an appearance again, and I kind of suspected what her story arc is going to be from the first book because there were some hints there, and I'm so happy that I was right. I have so many questions because there are things that are explained, but when they are explained, you kind of have new questions all over again. So yeah, very excited to read the next and final book and to conclude this story. I know I'm gonna be heartbroken by the end of it. Like I just know. So the last and final installment of the Ember series is A Sky Beyond the Storm. And as with the other books, I want to read what it says on the back. So mild spoilers for what was happening until now in the series. So it says, "Who will survive the storm? The long imprisoned Jinn are on the attack, wreaking bloody havoc. But for the Nightbringer, vengeance on his human foes is just the beginning." By his side, Commandant Kirs Vechuria declares herself Empress and calls for the heads of any and all who defy her rule. At the top of the list, the Bloodshrike and her remaining family. Laia of Sera, now allied with the Bloodshrike, is determined to stop the approaching apocalypse and throws herself into the destruction of the Nightbringer. In the process, she awakens an ancient power that could lead her to victory or to an unimaginable doom. And deep in the waiting place, the soul catcher seeks to forget the life and love he left behind. But to uphold his oath and protect the human world from the supernatural, the soul catcher must look beyond the borders of his own land. He must take on a mission that could save or destroy all that he knows. So they're basically going to war against the Jinn, I would suppose, in this one. I'm not that hopeful on their chances to win, but I'm sure everything will kind of sort of turn out, you know, okay in the end. I think this final book is a bit longer than the other three books. Yeah, this is just a bit over 500 pages. All of the other ones were about 450, so not that much longer than the rest of the series. I also have this one on audiobooks, so I might be switching back and forth. And emotionally, I'm not doing well. Mentally, I'm not doing well, but I am excited and also terrified to start reading the final book in the Ember series. I will go now because I'm starving, and I will update you with my thoughts on this one and then on the series overall. Hi friends, it is Friday today. I feel like the last time I updated you was on Wednesday, I think. So I have finished A Sky Beyond the Storm this morning. This is the last and final book in the Ember in the Ashes series by Sabaa Tahir. And when I tell you, I just feel heartbroken and numb and just like overwhelmed with everything that happened in this book and in this series overall. It's just crazy. Also, my voice just sounds really weird today. I don't know what's up with that. The ending of this book feels very unique for a fantasy series. I feel like we are so used with the classic formula with fantasy, and this really feels like something fresh, like something new. I am very happy with the direction that Sabaa here went with the ending of this book. In this book, I finally got my explanation that I was looking for, even since like the first book, because Laia has these sort of powers of like invisibility and we don't really know where they came from. It is explained in this book what's up with that. I loved the whole story arc with the Nightbringer and how everything came together so, I wouldn't say nicely because it was not nice, it was actually like terrifying and heartbreaking. I feel like all of the characters in this series, or I should say the ones that have survived the Great War, really got their happiest of endings. Sure, the things that happened were not ideal. They have suffered a lot of losses, and I was sure that a specific character is not gonna make it till the end, and I was right. So I guess I'm twisted like that. This was epic, and I'm so happy that I have finally read this series. I have all of the books here. I feel like my favorite character out of all of them from the series has to be Ellen. I still don't know how to pronounce her name. I think it's Ellen. I love how much she has evolved from the first book. And God, she just went through so much, and I feel so connected to her story arc and to her journey. I obviously love Laia and Elias as well, but Ellen is just something different. And the ending that she got in the last book took me the most by surprise. Also, because I have enjoyed this series so much, I was in the bookstore the other day. Actually, no. I went to the bookstore specifically to buy this book. So I bought the newest release from Sabaa here. This is Heir, and from what I could gather from reading the back of the book and also from Goodreads, this is like a spin-off of sorts because I think it happens like 20 years later after the events of An Ember in the Ashes, I'm pretty sure. So it says, wait, let me put these books down. I don't know why I'm staying with them like this. So on the back it says, an orphan, an outcast, a prince, and a killer who will bring an empire to its knees. Growing up in the Kigali slums, Ace has seen her share of suffering. An old tragedy fuels her need for vengeance, but it is love of her people that propels her, until one hot-headed mistake lands her in an inescapable prison where the embers of her wraith ignite. Banished from her people for an unforgivable crime, Saoirse is a down-on-her-luck trucker who uses magic to track her marks. Destitute, she agrees to hunt down a killer who has murdered children across the Marshall Empire. All she has to do is carry out the job and get paid. But when a chance encounter leads to an unexpected attraction, Saoirse learns her mission might cost her far more than she's willing to give up. Quill is the crown prince of the Empire and nephew of a venerated empress, wink wink nudge nudge, but he's loath to take the throne when his aunt steps down. As the son of a reviled emperor, he, better than anyone, understands that power corrupts. When a vicious new enemy threatens the survival of the empire, Quill must ask himself if he can rise above his tragic lineage and be the heir his people need. Beloved storyteller Sabaa here interweaves the lives of three young people as they grapple with power, treachery, love, and the devastating consequences of unchecked greed on a journey that may cost them their lives and their hearts, literally. This is the first book in a duology. So having read 4 books by Sabaa here, I think this is going to end up in a very interesting way, let's just say. But yeah, I'm very excited to continue reading something from the world of the Marshall Empire in Heir. This is the end of today's video. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will hopefully see you soon in another video. Bye everyone!